So hi and welcome to class and welcome back, Henry. We're very happy to have you back in our English learning class where we're going to be learning together, practicing more English and doing lots of great activities and helping each other with our English. So this week you have come at a good time. This week we're going to be talking about food. Okay, so a very great topic. Everybody likes to talk about food, but how can we speak about food using the correct grammar and, be able to have lots of vocabulary? Make sure that we know how to ask someone, what's their cultural food? What is a traditional meal from someone's country? And also make sure that we can go to the markets. Okay, really important. We go to the markets, we need to buy fruits and vegetables and lots of other ingredients. So let's increase our vocabulary so we can go to the markets and also be at a restaurant. We can order at a restaurant. Okay, really good. We know how to ask the waiter for what we want, and we know how to use common expressions and greetings. Okay, so let's learn about food in this lesson. So first, we know that if we look at this photo, so let's have a look at this photo. It says La Casa de la Abuela, which is in Spanish, and it means my grandmother's kitchen. So this is street food in Oaxaca, which is in Mexico. So street food, yeah, very common. When you go to a country to visit a new country or a city, you'll see that there are foods on the streets, and usually these food are very traditional to a country. Okay, so we can see we are in Mexico, and this is a lady, and she's making maybe some well, we're going to find out. We're going to listen to an audio and hear about somebody traveling to this place and what did they eat. Okay, so let's listen to an audio. So we want to know, where does the woman in the photo cook and sell food? So we know that's in the street market, the street food. What kind of street food can you buy in your country? So we know maybe in China, you'll see a lot of maybe dumplings. I'm sure is very common. Or if you go to Mexico, maybe they'll have a lot of tacos or very traditional meals. Okay, so let's listen to the audio. We want to know and answer these questions here. Okay, so let's listen about somebody talking about going on a trip, traveling, and what did they experience with street food when they were there. Okay, let's listen to the audio and answer questions 2.
Track 47, Unit 5 Opener.
I have a great job because I travel to different countries. I meet new people and visit new places. But I really love traveling because I taste lots of different types of food. So when I arrive in a new city, I always go to the local restaurants and cafes. At the moment, I'm in Oaxaca. It's one of my favorite places for street food. All the street chefs make the food by hand, and then they cook it on a real fire. So when you walk up the street, you can smell the food from the different cafes. Local Mexican tortillas are the best. The chefs serve the tortillas with a local hot sauce. They taste delicious. I can eat them at any time of day, for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Okay, so now we heard the conversation. So why does she say she has a great job? Because she gets to meet new people and visit new places. So that's why she likes her job. Okay, 2 actions. She gets to meet new people and visit new places. That's a good reason to like your job. Why does she really love traveling? Because she gets to taste. So we use the verb to taste or to try. When we want to eat food for the first time, we say, did you try this? Or have you tried pizza? Did you, try? So that's very common. So because she gets to try lots of different kinds, or you can say types of food. So that's why she really loves traveling. She gets to try different foods, many different foods from the country that she's in. Where does she always go when she arrives in a new city? She goes to the local restaurants and cafes. Okay, so when you arrive, that's what I would do too, because you're hungry and you want to try the local food that's there. Why is Oaxaca one of her favorite places? She likes homemade and cooked dishes by fire. So a great way to cook, not by electric, not by gas, but by fire. So the food will come out so much better, especially pizza. When you see pizza cooked in a fire oven, really good. So the smell is amazing. And what is her favorite dish? Mexican tortilla, which is the bread, and with the local sauce, okay, the traditional sauce. Okay, so we talked about, we listened to the audio, and now we know why she likes to travel. We know what she does when she goes to a new country. We know what her favorite dish is, or you could say her favorite meal. Let's have a look at some of these everyday verbs that are with food. So number 3, all the street chefs make the food by hand. So when we make something, it's like the same as to say to cook. Yesterday I made, which is the past. Yesterday I made pizza, or, I make spaghetti bolognese all the time. So we make a meal. It's the same as saying we cook a meal. Then they cook it on real fire. So we cook a meal. If it's something that you're making that's sweet, then you would bake. You would bake a cake, you would bake something. But if it's food, you cook it on a fire. So when you walk up the street, you can smell the food. So that's the best part. When you go into a restaurant, sometimes you can just smell the meal from the kitchen. The chefs serve. So when we serve, it means when we give, especially with food. So the chefs serve the tortillas with local hot sauce. They taste delicious. So if you really like the food that you're eating, you say, wow, this tastes delicious. This tastes amazing. This tastes really good. Okay, so it tastes really good. Now, remember, if it's a drink, you would say this. You can also say the drink tastes really good. I can eat them at any time of the day for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So that's how I feel as well about some of Mexican food. It's really good. You can eat it any time of the day. Okay, so we eat food, but remember, we drink drinks. So if you say, my favorite food to eat is Mexican food, but my favorite drinks to drink are whatever. Okay, good. Let's have a look at some vocabulary to do with food. So we have lots of them here. Let's have a look. I'll give you the names for all of them. So if you look at the picture, the first one, rice. Yeah, we have white rice. You could say brown rice. You could say basmati rice. Rice wine. Yeah, rice wine is like the liquid which you use in sauces. Now, this one is capsicum. So in America, they will call them peppers, but in Australia, we say capsicums, and that's spelt like this, capsicums. Okay, and you can say, you know, green capsicums, red capsicums, yellow capsicums. So in Australia, we call them capsicums. Potatoes. Yeah, potatoes. Number 4, chips, especially hot chips, you could call that. Number 5, pasta. 6, chicken. 7, lamb. 8, fish. 9, this is raisins, or in Australia, we say sultanas. Okay, so Americans call them raisins. Australians, we say sultanas, but we also say raisins. Okay, and again, you can get the dark colored raisins, or you could get the lighter colored raisins. Number 10. Yeah, juice, glass of orange juice. 11, prawns. 12, onions. 13, oranges or orange. 14, salt. 15, nuts. 16, eggs. 17, lemons. 18, these are called is lentils. And again, you can get brown lentils, you can get yellow lentils, you can see all the different ones. 19, cheese. And again, you can get lots of cheese, Parmesan cheese, a lot of Italian different cheese, yellow cheese, white cheese. And 20, pepper. Pepper. Okay, so you could say, you could use really when you talk about what you really like. And remember the negative, I don't like. You could say, I often eat. That means, you know, quite a lot. I often eat chicken. I often eat lamb. But I don't often eat prawns, maybe. I sometimes cook. So that means if you make the meal. So I sometimes cook chicken and rice. You could say the name of the dish. I sometimes cook dumplings. I sometimes cook roast chicken, but I never cook prawns, grilled fish. Okay, and taste. Remember, when we taste something, it means that we know the flavor. So you've all tasted chicken and lamb and prawns and fish. Has anyone not tasted these food? No, I think everybody has tasted these foods. Okay, so just when we look at some famous foods from some countries. So we have, let's have a look. We have pizza. Now pizza, if I look at here, pizza is from Italy. Ceviche is from Peru. That's a very common dish from Peru. Satay, Indonesia. Kabsa comes from Saudi Arabia. Pierogi, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. That's from Poland. And curry, everybody knows, from India. Okay, so these are common dishes. We don't say typical dishes. It's not common to say typical. We say, you know, traditional food or traditional common local food. Okay, so let's write that one down. So we call them traditional or local food. And we know, as I said, pizza, very famous from Italy. We have ceviche, which was from Peru. Satay from Indonesia. Kabsa from Saudi Arabia. Pierogi from Poland. And curry, very common, everybody knows, from India. So curry. Some of the common foods from around the world. So we're going to listen now to 3 people describing a dish from their country. So let's listen to how people talk about these food from their country. So there's going to be 3 people. So which of these food do you hear them talk about? Okay, let's listen.
Track 49. Unit 5A. 1.
This is kabsa. It's a popular dish in my country and also in other countries like Yemen. You need some chicken, or some people make it with fish. Cook the chicken with an onion, some salt and pepper and other spices. You can add some tomatoes as well. We eat it with rice. I put some nuts and raisins on the top, and sometimes some eggs. It tastes delicious.
2. Ceviche is popular in Peru, but also in countries like Chile. It's easy to make. It's fish, but you don't cook it. You put some juice from a lemon on the fish, and this cooks it. Sometimes we eat it with onions, and maybe some salad as well. You eat it cold. 3.
Spaghetti bolognese is a famous dish all over the world. But the real bolognese comes from my city of Bologna in Italy. And our city's dish is pasta with bolognese sauce. People put different things in the sauce, and every Italian has their favorite recipe. For example, some people use carrots. I don't use any carrots, but you always need some meat and some onions and tomatoes. You eat it hot, but when we have some left, I eat it cold for lunch the next day.
Okay, so we had the first speaker was speaking about kabsa, which was from Saudi Arabia. The second speaker was speaking about ceviche, which is from Peru. And the last speaker was speaking about spaghetti bolognese, which is from Italy. Okay, so let's talk about, before we go to the markets, let's make sure that we know when we have a noun, so when we're talking about food, an object, if it's singular or if it's plural, but also if it's countable or if it's uncountable. Okay, because that helps us when we want to ask for what do we want. So we need to know how much do we want of it. So if you have singular, you just want, for example, 1 apple, you would say a apple. an apple, or you would say a banana, or, you know, the watermelon. So this means you only want one. So for example, I would like an orange, please. So remember, we use an when the noun, the object, the food starts with a vowel, A-E-I-O-U. And if it doesn't, then we just say this one: a cucumber, a capsicum. Okay, when we talk about many, so we don't want one, but we want many, we say the before the noun: many, a lot of, several, any, some, or you could say the number. So I would like 4, and then you say the noun and make sure it has the S ending. So for example, 4 capsicums, many eggs. I need a lot of potatoes. Okay, so this plural means that we want not one, but we want many. And we can just use any of these words, or we can say exactly how much we want. 5, we want 6 apples. Okay, now that means it's countable because we can count it. You know, we can say 1 apple, 2 apples, 3 apples, 4 apples, 5 apples. So when I can count, it's called countable nouns. Now, if you look at uncountable nouns, you have some words which have their own rule. We cannot say 1 bread, 2 bread, 3 bread, or 1 food, 3 food, or 2 cheese, 3 cheese, 4 cheese, or 5 milk, 2 milk. So we cannot count them. And we call these words uncountable nouns. Now, you just have to remember them. Some of the most common uncountable nouns with food are bread, food, cheese, milk, salt, rice, sugar, fruit, oil, sauce. So if we want many of these uncountable nouns, we say, for example, I want 2 kilos. So we have to use a measurement here. So we put the number first, and then we use the measurement, and then we say of, and then the uncountable nouns. So for example, 2 kilos of rice, 3 bottles of orange juice, 4 packets of chips, 2 loaves of bread, or maybe 4 liters of milk. So you have to use the correct measurement to the correct noun. Okay, so make sure you know what gram means: kilo, bottle, piece. We say a piece of cake. Slice, a slice of cake. Glass, a glass of orange juice, a glass of apple. Packet, a packet of chips, a packet of rice, a packet of something. Tin, a tin of sardines, a tin of loaf, a loaf of bread. Liters of milk. Okay, so that's how we speak about food when we know we want to ask for one of it or we want to ask for many. But we must know if it's countable or uncountable. So remember, uncountable is these words, and all the other fruit and vegetables are here, countable. So apples, bananas, cucumbers, onions, they're all countable. Okay, so if we look at page 59, cook the chicken with an onion. So an, because we know that the next word starts with an A-E-I-O-U, an onion. You need some meat and some onions and tomatoes. So all plural. I don't use any carrots. So when we have this word any, we use it in negative sentences like I don't have any tomatoes. I don't have any bread. I don't have any, and then you say what the noun is. Or there isn't. That's if it's singular. There isn't any apples. There aren't any and or I don't have, as we said before, I don't have any onions. Do you have any bread? Now we can also use the word any when we ask questions. So I want to know if somebody has something. Do you have any potatoes? Do you have any cucumbers? So maybe I'm at their home or I'm at a marketplace and I'm asking the person if they have this ingredient. Do you have any? And then I say the name. Okay, so this is for uncountable and countable nouns. Or I can ask a question, do you need? So maybe I'm cooking with someone and I need to ask them, do you need any eggs? Do you have any bananas? Okay, so make sure any, we can see it's used in negative sentences and in questions. So for number 9, we use a or an. So I can see a or an up here. We use a or an with countable nouns before countable nouns. Number 2, we use some and any with plural. So I could see here in the plural uncountable, we say some, and any. So plural nouns in the countable, and then the uncountable nouns, some. And we normally use any with, we did that before, we normally use any with negative and questions. Okay, so number 10, choose the correct options. So we have a conversation. Let's have a look at this conversation. So number 10, I'd like to make chicken curry this evening. What do you think? Sounds good. Okay, well, we need some chicken. Can you buy a kilo when you go to the supermarkets? Okay, because we know we only need 1. Can you buy a kilo? That means 1 kilo. Sure. And we need some tomatoes. Okay, so I don't know how many. We just need some tomatoes. Right. And we don't have, remember negative, we don't have any onions. We don't have any onions. I'll get some. Do we need any rice? It's a question. Do we need any rice? No, I think there's some rice in the cupboard. Okay, I think that there's some rice in the cupboard. Okay, and I'll buy some oil for cooking. So we need some chicken, tomatoes, onions, and oil. Anything else? So think about a popular dish from your country. So remember, a popular dish means that it is food that is traditional to your country. Okay, so in Asia, maybe it's dumplings, rice, pho from Vietnam. If you're in Italy, maybe it's spaghetti bolognese. Or in Mexico, it's tacos. Okay, traditional, it's from your country. Let's have a read of some of these. So we have Eloise that says pão de queso, so cheese bread, is made from tapioca starch, eggs, salt, oil, and cheese. It is known throughout Brazil and is eaten for breakfast, accompanied by coffee or tea. And she's added the image here. Brian says, Tamil is one of the typical Colombian food that has special ingredients and preparation methods. It is filled with meats and vegetables and cooked in water. But the secret of the flavor is in its packaging. Banana or biao leaves, which give it a unique and delicious flavor. And this is the image here. Okay, Victor says, and that's the image, I love beans. Feijoada is one of the most well-known and popular typical dishes. Now, again, remember, we don't really say typical, we say local dishes of Brazilian cuisine. It is basically made of black beans, different parts of pork, the ear, tail, near, etc., sausages, and flour. It can be served with sides such as cabbage, rice, and orange slices. It tastes delicious. And I like the emojis. Jonathan, so this is the image here. Bandeja paisa is a popular food found in Medellin, Colombia. To make it, you need beans, rice, eggs, avocado, crispy pork cracklings, arepa, which are cornmeal cakes, plantain, and ground meat. This is usually served for lunch. Dickerson, this is his image. Again, remember, these are popular dishes or local dishes from your country. So Dickerson says, Colombia is a country where there is a lot of variety of food. But here in the center of Santander, egg broth accompanied by corn arepa is very popular. This dish consists of milk, eggs, potato, coriander, and a little tomato and spring onions. The arepa are made from corn and cheese. This is best served at dinner with coffee and toasted bread. Juanita, these are one of my favorites. So that's the image. She says, the name of this famous dish is empanadas. It is very famous in both Argentina and Colombia. It is made with a corn tortilla filled with a mixture of meat and vegetables. Some people add rice or potatoes if they wish. It is fried in oil, while in Argentina it is baked. Generally, it is eaten right away. Empanadas are delicious with a local sauce and served with red wine. Okay, and Oscar, this is his image. Oscar says, fried tilapia with coconut rice. It is a typical dish originally from the Colombian coast. It consists of fried fish with fried plantains, which is a type of banana, coconut rice, and salad. Pho, so here we are from Vietnam. Pho says, and that's the image. So Henry would know, pho is a traditional Vietnamese dish originating from Van Cu Nam Dinh in Vietnam. Pho is considered one of the typical dishes of Vietnamese cuisine. The main ingredients of pho are rice noodles, broth, beef or chicken, and some other spices, along with sliced bread or chicken. The most suitable beef for cooking pho is meat and bones from the cow breed. This is best eaten at lunchtime. Javiera, this is the image. Javiera says, this popular Chilean food is empanadas. It is prepared with a flour, onion, meat, and eggs. It is baked in the oven. It is common to eat this during the Chilean independence celebration. You can eat it at any time of the day. It is served hot with a glass of red wine. Jimena says, this dish is rice with chicken. It is made with rice, chicken, sausage, salt, pepper, capsicums, and vegetables. You can add potatoes, beef, and hot chips. You can eat it at any time of the day and is best served with a cold drink. Okay, so you are going to think about your country and a local dish, a local food that is from your country, and try to tell us what are the ingredients that are in it. And when can I eat it? Is it common to eat it for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, or maybe any time of the day? Okay, so let's hear about your local dish from your country.